Hi all, welcome to our webinar on IELTS tips and tricks. I am Nitya Gopinathan, the co-founder and director of my IELTS partner. I have been a corporate trainer and an IELTS trainer for the last 10 years. Hi Susan.
Hi Nitya, finally we meet.
Yes.
So I'm Sussan Abraham. I'm mostly known by the name Susama Talks. I think you might have seen me in different social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Moj, YouTube and more I guess. So I'm also the founder and the director of Tell Education, which is an online based language IELTS training segment, and I have an experience of teaching for the last 18 years, but in the field of IELTS maybe 6 to 7 years.
Yes. Our experience in teaching goes a really long way.
Really long, but we are not that old actually. We're young.
Yes.
Yes. So I think we need to break some some notions, some wrong notions that people have about IELTS, and
Yes.
that's exactly what we're going to break today. So we're going to be some iconoclast right now here.
Yes, there are a lot of myths people have when they hear the name IELTS, when they start preparing for this exam. There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of preconceived notions people come with.
Yes.
They think, oh, it's this, it's that, but actually it's nothing of that kind.
It is nothing of that sort. Basically, when you write something down, when you write a certain number of rules, always remember that it is for that particular age, or for that those criteria are actually for that age or probably at that time. But as the time changes, so does the language, so does its usage. But we like to cling on to the old usages and we kind of stay there forever.
And we also have this problem. Somebody tells you something, or there is this one person, say, maybe somebody who's well known in the field, and they come and say, this is your thumb rule, or this is the first thing you should do, this is the second thing you should do. And then everybody tends to follow it to the T, actually not knowing what they're doing.
Exactly.
So then these rules don't apply to them, and they finally don't succeed in what they actually want to succeed in. And then they come and complain saying, oh, I did not pass my test. I did all of this, but this is not meant for me.
Yeah, language skills has got nothing to do with being a person being fame or a brand being at the top. It's got nothing to do about that. IELTS is an exam. It's a language based skill.
Yes.
And skill is something that should be developed. And there are certain ways which you can use to develop your skill. What exactly is that is what we're going to discuss right now.
It's more like swimming, I would say, because it's not an inborn. Swimming is not an inborn talent like dancing or music. It is something that you learn with time. You have to go. You are put into water, and then you develop the skill. Learning English, IELTS specifically is an exam that tests your skills in reading, listening, writing and speaking. So it's all about how you develop the skill and develop it on your own ground, at your pace.
Exactly.
And not mug or try to ape what another person is doing.
Exactly. You will definitely make a lot of mistakes, and that's perfectly fine, because mistakes will always help you. It will take you to the place where you have to. For example, I might be making a lot of mistakes while I'm speaking. That's perfectly fine. I don't judge myself. I don't judge others. But what do you do with the mistakes? You actually correct them. We have the opportunity to correct them. Just correct them and follow the rules. Go forward, move on, that's all. Being judgmental should be the last thing, or probably the thing that you should never do. So language is something that has to be developed through mistakes, and we'll be pointing out certain mistakes. We ourselves do make mistakes. We are not perfect. Nobody is perfect actually. Right, Nitya? I think.
Absolutely. So, first be easy on yourself. Understand that unless you make mistakes, unless you ask questions, you will not actually know whether you're on the right track or not. A lot of people have this hesitation to even ask questions.
Exactly.
Because they feel they'll look like fools among people, and then they don't know actually by keeping quiet you're being the fool.
Exactly.
Because you're not sure of whether what you have in your mind is right or not.
It's perfectly fine to be a fool at one point, I mean at one place,
Yes.
rather than being a fool everywhere.
Exactly.
Because I have been, in my younger classes, I used to ask questions which never made any sense. But my teachers, even after getting irritated, they used to give me an answer. Because they gave me an answer, I never went around and used the same thing. That really helped me.
Yeah.
But did it actually take me to a place where I got insulted? Yes, I did. But that's fine.
Even I've made so many mistakes, and I've learned so much from the mistakes that I've made, actually, more than anything else. I think
Exactly.
much more than the books or the talks that I've heard. It's all been about my experience. Even as a teacher, I would say I have evolved over time. I have learned I've learned how to explain better and tell my students it's okay. Cracking your IELTS exam is a very personal. It's a very, very personal thing.
Yes, it is.
You
Yes,
need
it
to
is.
find your own tips and your own tricks and the secrets of the trade. There is no prescribed formula for this. That is something that maybe we can help you out with in
Yes,
this
exactly.
little conversation that we plan to have.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so Nitya, I think a lot of students have this concern with reading, right?
Yes.
So obviously they go to the tips and tricks. That's
Yes.
exactly what they do, right?
Yes.
So I just randomly clicked IELTS reading tips, okay? And I want you to skip the first one and
Yeah.
read the rest of them.
Yes. So read the question first.
Yeah.
Reread the questions and understand them. Scan, skim, summarize. Key in the keywords in your head.
Okay. So I guess everybody understood what you
Yeah,
need to do.
it's-
So these are the tips actually for reading. This is how you actually learn to read. But now Nitya, please read the first one that you actually skipped.
The first one is read every day.
You have to read. If you have to improve your reading, please don't come to the notion that some tips and tricks are going to help you with this. For reading, Nitya, I think you can say this better.
Yes, for reading, see, we can give you a lot of tips. We can tell you all of this that is written here. We can ask you to, we can explain.
We can even make new rules for you.
Yeah, we can do all of that. But at the end of the day, you need to read in order to crack your reading section in IELTS. Now, reading is not a Herculean task. All you need to do is you see something interesting, read. Just go through what's written. How much of your time would that take? Even if it's on your phone, for instance. I'm sure all of us nowadays, most of you at least, are on your phones doing something or the other. So you see something, go through it, read what's written. And while reading, after you finish reading, at least take about 10 seconds to analyze what you read. At least try understand for yourself what actually you went through, and then you will understand, okay, so these were the important points that somebody was trying to communicate through that article or through the post or whatever it is. And then you will know how important it is to actually sit down and understand what keywords mean.
Exactly.
That is how we can very well tell you the keywords. You need to key in the keywords, but if you don't know what keywords are, how will you actually understand or even understand the term keywords?
Exactly. Imagine you're a person who's never come to this field of reading at all. You've never read anything in your life except the fact that you've read Facebook posts. That's all what you've read. We're telling you to skim and scan. You really don't understand what exactly is. Tips and tricks should not be some sort of points which will make you feel happy. Oh, there is a way. But let me tell you, for every hard work, you have to pay a price. Without paying a price, you really can't get through this. So let me tell you this. If you have to improve your reading skills, or if you want to overcome this exam, if you want to pass through or get through, or achieve your dreams,
at least answer all the 40 questions.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm sure some of you all don't know, the reading section in the IELTS exam has 40 questions, and you have 3 passages. Now, in these 3 passages, you're definitely expected to do the same. You're expected to skim, scan, find keywords, find synonyms, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But in order to be able to do that, you need to first understand what this means. And to understand that, you actually need to first start reading.
Yeah, you don't have any other choice actually. If you really want another choice, let me give you the easiest choice. Don't write IELTS, be where you are, enjoy your life,
Yes.
have a nice cup of coffee, have a cookie if you want. That's it. Please don't go for reading. So there is no easy way. You have to read.
Yes, it's very important.
Okay, so Nitya, I was just going to ask you, since you were actually talking about reading so well, I was thinking my IELTS partner is actually your vision, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So how have you picturized reading in your app actually?
So what I have done in the application is for all the modules for that matter, there is a structured method that I have followed. So the videos definitely talk about the methodologies that
Okay.
one can use in order to answer the different types of questions asked.
Okay.
Now, to make that a little clearer, there are different, like I was telling you, there are 40 questions. The 40 questions are of different types.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
There are different types of questions. So each video caters to how to answer, what strategy one can implement to answer these set of questions.
Exactly. Like for example, how do you answer a multiple question?
How do you answer?
the
Fill
ones
in the blank.
fill in the blanks, and the ones that has got headings? Oh, those
Match.
are the ones.
Oh,
Oh, that is
those.
so difficult.
Very, very difficult. And honestly, trust me, the major tip that I have given, or the major suggestion I have given in the application also to answer, match the sentence, match the headings, is to read.
Exactly.
And I've made it very clear, saying please read multiple texts.
Yeah.
It's not, see, you go join your IELTS course, you can join an IELTS course wherever, and you are given a handbook, and you're reading for the first time in your life. How do you expect to actually score a band 9 or a band 8 or a band 7? And then you have students who come and tell you, oh, I got only 3. Yes, you will, because this is the first time you're actually reading in your life.
What did you expect? I mean, you're reading a passage and there is a heading right below. You're not able to find out whether what is given in the heading is in the passage. Shows that how much, where you are when it comes to reading. So that itself shows that you have no clue of what reading is. Please don't have this misunderstanding that reading is going to be very easy by just following some tips and tricks. That's not really going to be. It's just what do you say for that? It's just like a blind spot.
Yeah, tips and tricks it's just a name. It's just something that most people give out for people who think this is
or it could be something like for, it should be the last thing that
people should, it's just something that you can maybe refer just before your exam, just to maybe have some summary of whatever you've learned.
Yeah, like for example, you're really good in reading. Tips and tricks is the last thing that you need. But if you're a beginner, please don't go for it.
Yes, it's definitely. And to add to my IELTS partner and reading, there are a lot of texts that you can read, you can understand, and you can actually feel, get real time feel of how the exam is going to be. And this will definitely help you understand how much more practice you need to put in
Exactly.
in this section. So that is how the reading section is tackled in the product.
Good job. So I think good job to us, not you. So now I think everybody is eagerly waiting for the next one, which is speaking. So Nitya, describe artwork that you actually saw in an art gallery or a museum.
Good question.
Obviously, dude, it's a good question because I made it like I'm here for that.
Did that ring a bell? At least a couple of you would have. I'm sure it would have. You cannot tell your examiner good question. You cannot just look at their face and say, they ask you something and then you say good question. Exactly why they're there. They know their job. They know what they're doing. So a lot of students make this mistake.
Your affirmation has got nothing to do with
it's not going to give them any confidence. They'll possibly you will lose your marks, and that's all that's going to happen when you do that.
You don't have to boost the confidence of the examiner. The
Yes.
examiner knows where exactly the person has to be. So I think here comes another problem. Speaking is something that is done one-on-one, right?
Yes.
I think that is the best way. So if I have somebody like you to talk to and speak with, it's really good. But what happens is that when it comes to a one-on-one session, we should get a friend or a person or a partner. So then what would we suggest? App.
Yes.
But the students have a problem talking to machines. So my concern is when it comes to my IELTS partner, if I'm actually referring my IELTS partner, how different will it be from other apps?
Okay, so to answer the first part of the question, we tell our students, definitely, I think all of us do this, we say, please speak in English, please expose yourself to English, talk more in English, talk to your friends, your peers, look at the mirror and talk. A lot of people actually advise their students to do that. They say, look at the mirror and talk. But if you look at the mirror and you're going to say the same old thing, if you keep looking at the mirror and saying good question, you're not doing, nobody's there to tell you whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing.
Exactly.
And it's not going to help. Now, again, how far will you actually speak to somebody whom you're comfortable with in English? There is a very, very high tendency of slipping into your native. Maybe say 2 sentences and then you slip into your native. You feel, maybe the person listening to you also will be like, dude, enough,
let's get into Malayalam.
Let's speak in our, let's just be very comfortable. This is just not getting anywhere. I'm sure you'll pass your exam somehow. That's why you've paid so much of money. Just go. No, why you bothering me? But on the application, what you need to understand is when you're talking to a machine, there is no chance you can speak in your native, because the minute you slip into your native, you will be marked 0. So you are forced, you're compelled to speak. You have to answer all the questions in English, and only then will you be given your scores for fluency, coherence, grammar and vocabulary.
As she's telling this has got nothing to do with the accent, by the way. Accent is anything. Accent is something that you get when you go to a country, and you don't have to be worried about the accent.
Accent has nothing to do with speaking.
I've known a lot of institutions give very much importance to accent, and this takes, it really scares the students. You really don't have to be worried about the accent, but your pronunciation, yes. You cannot, if somebody comes to your country and mispronounces your native language, how will you feel? It's the same with the English speaking countries as well. You cannot go to their country and mispronounce their word and say, oh, this is what I know. No, obviously you will be marked less if you mispronounce a word. I only know to speak what their policy is. This is not acceptable because it's their language. Just like they coming to your place and saying what kappa thot mean kutmu.
Exactly. So if you're going to be the one saying, oh, you should know our native, you should know their native as well. That doesn't mean you have an accenticized way of speaking. No, because that is only going to get you in trouble, because you will focus so much on the accent that you will forget your grammar, you will forget how to structure a sentence in the most appropriate manners. That is very important.
And also develop a fake accent, which can be very irritating to others, especially to the natives. Some natives, I have heard a native telling me, Susan, you don't really have to talk like that. I do understand English. You really just have to focus on the pronunciation and your English is good. Accent is something that you get influenced when you go to a particular country, and that is something that will it will spontaneously happen the moment you step into a country.
So don't unnecessarily roll your R's and have your talk. It's definitely not talk anyways.
It's not.
So please don't do such things. At least learn to speak whatever you know in the most appropriate manner. And always remember that you're not marked on what you're speaking about, but it's more about the content and the way you put it across.
The genuinity of how you speak, how genuine you are. You're not supposed to make up certain things which sounds so fabricated. Even the fabricated should sound genuine. So when you say, for example, I think it was a couple of years back, there should be a genuinity. I think a couple of years back, it should not be that robotic kind of language. They expect you to speak language fluently, which means without any sort of stress. Enjoy what you're speaking. That's exactly what they mean when they say fluency.
So where are you from? I hail from the cultural capital of this, that. Yes, that is definitely the most appropriate manner to answer, but there is a way you say it. You don't say it like a mugged up.
I don't think natives speak that way.
No, none of them do. But unfortunately,
I think have you heard about this place? And they start casual talks, and that's how they talk about that place.
Yes, and one more thing in speaking is definitely important is your vocabulary. Don't try using try using synonyms. That is, for the same word have, you can have multiple ways of saying the same thing. Like you avoid saying and continuously, and
Can go for as well as,
in addition to this, moreover, things like that.
furthermore.
You can avoid saying but, you can say however, whereas. There are a lot of connectives or linking words we call that you can use. These are things that you can learn with practice, and you can learn through our content as well. So these things are definitely very, very important. So keep that in mind. Focus on enhancing your vocabulary and not your accent and using idiomatic language and saying good
too
question. This was something I expected. No.
Obviously. So then I think we'll get into the next one, which is listening.
Go.
You know what, Susan? I went to the shop the other day and I wanted to pick up clothes for myself.
Oh.
Because something interesting is around the corner. So I said, okay, let me go check this out. And then I went and I saw this amazing dress, and I wanted to try it out. I usually don't like trying out clothes, but I said, okay, let me just check it out because it looked different from what I usually wear. So I went and checked it out, and then I come out and then I suddenly see the price and I'm like, yo, this is too much. I don't think it's a good idea for me to spend. And then I was like, no, maybe I can do so much with this. So I decided, no, I'm not going to pick it up. So yeah. Have you had an experience of that kind? Like,
Yeah, I believe the biryani is really good here.
what? I wasn't talking about food at all. I was talking about the shop and the clothes. And
Okay. I think I missed on that. Did you
that's
say
what
anything
most people do.
Exactly. They hear, but they don't listen.
Yeah, that's what you need to pick up. That's the skill you need to develop for your IELTS listening exam. You need to listen and not hear. So when people come and ask us, listening module is very difficult because as the audio plays, you are expected to write your answers. For that, the only way is you stop hearing to what people are actually talking about and actually listen to what somebody's talking to you about. Like when you go to a restaurant, so many of us do this. We actually eavesdrop on what the other person is talking about in the table, people sitting beside us. That time we're actually listening, we're not hearing, because we're so interested in knowing what they're talking about. You apply the same here. Listen and listen for key information. That's very important. So when somebody's
I think the best example is listening is what you do when your neighbors, have
having
some
a fight.
visitors or fight, and hearing is mostly what you do when you attend a seminar.
hearing is what most spouses do, I guess. I don't think they listen. So yeah,
They hear. They just hear sounds.
Yeah,
That's all.
That's all they know. So that is how you develop your listening skills. And if you had to ask me, one of the ways in which you can improve your listening skills is by maybe try watching a movie without subtitles. Try understanding what the person is talking about without actually having to look at the text. So that helps you listen more keenly for information, because you have to pay attention to their lip movements and what they're talking about. So try doing that. That is one way. But the only other way, I think
listening is actually a bit of reading, a bit of listening, speaking, and a bit of writing. When everything comes together, listening is actually complete.
Yes.
So you cannot listening has got everything to do with all the other three segments. So you cannot separate listening from all the other segments. All these four segments come together. They have a reason to be together, because all of them together makes or builds your language skills. So my concern is, one of the problem that I've always faced is I've had problems in downloading apps. I download the app. I enjoy, the questions that they have in the app. One fine morning, you wake up and there is no questions. This is very sad. So that's where I think I have somebody to rely on, which is my IELTS
Yes.
partner. I know it's really nice, right? My IELTS partner, somebody who's going to be with you. who's going to
Exactly.
support you and help you.
That was the idea behind having the name also.
I didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah.
So, how is the modules, the lessons in my IELTS partner when it comes to listening?
Listening, again, we have a lot of video lessons to explain the strategies, the different types of questions. So listening again has 4 sections, 40 questions, and each section is designed in a very specific manner. So there's a conversation, there is a monologue where there's only one person talking. So these are different sections. There are social situations, academic situations. It's a combination of all of this, a listening test. So in the application, we have video lessons that talk about the different types of questions and the strategies that one can use to answer the questions. However, more than the video lessons, there are umpteen number of practice and mock
Wow.
tests,
Superb.
which is available to the user. The practice material is accessible thrice, so you can practice the same test at least thrice.
Oh, nice.
However, the mock test is obviously, since it's a mock test, it needs to be exam oriented. You can access it only once.
Okay.
And like any other module on the application, you get instant scores for your listening section as well. So as the audio plays, you answer the questions on the application, and once you submit your test, you get your scores right there, then and there, and you go to your analytics page, that is your personal dashboard,
Nice.
where you can see your progress.
Wow.
So if you've done say about 10 practice tests, then over the 10 practice tests, the personal dashboard will show you exactly where you've gone wrong, which are your plus points, which are your weak points.
Nice.
So which question actually is giving you trouble. So you can concentrate more on that section.
Superb.
So-
I'm already in love with this app right now.
So that's how we have tackled this situation. And another thing I think a lot of people face is when you actually sit down to do your listening in a at any center or anywhere for that matter, you're not always getting access to the material.
Oh yeah, exactly. I recently came across a student who said that she joined an institution where there are 500 students for just one whole segment, and by the time she received the listening, but she saw the lab, the lab where you
The
do
listening
the
lab,
listening
yeah.
lab was probably at the 3rd week of her arrival in the institution, which is like really bad. So when you consider that way, you have somebody like personally with you. You can access, you can get in, do your practices, get your marks. You can even see your analytics. This is way too cool. Let me tell you that.
Because one thing is, I don't know if you've noticed this one segment of people who don't get access to their listening tests. There's one segment who generally you go into a class, you are given your material, so you're given your reading material, you're given your listening material, you're expected to sit at the desk, complete your reading test, complete your listening test, and you fill in your scores and you go for the day.
Yeah, that's done.
Nobody's there to actually tell you, okay, why are your scores so less? Where did you go wrong? What method can you use to improve your scores?
For example, some of you might be very good with numbers, so you can listen to the numbers. Somebody read out the numbers to you, and you can get it in one go. But when it comes to address, you might be confused. With spellings you might have some problems. So all these have to be assisted. When it comes to listening, you have to be assisted, and my IELTS partner, I think, is really a good option when it comes to assisting. And also the analytics will always make you really happy. It will always help you boost your confidence. Okay, this is where I am, I need to go a little more, I need to get better. I used to have this app. It's like a fitness app. Okay, so it's really cool. The app is, you work out for 40 minutes, and after 40 minutes of your workout, they'll tell you how much of Mount Everest did you climb in that 40. So every time you see how you climb that mountain, and when you reach the top, the pinnacle,
you're elated.
you're
Yes.
so happy. I mean,
Yeah.
analytics will always make you happy.
Definitely.
It will always help you boost your confidence. It will, you know where you're actually going. You're being guided by it.
And for a skill, like we were saying from the beginning, IELTS is a skill. So to develop a skill, you need self-assessment, you need regular progress intervention. You need to know where have you reached, what is your progress now
Exactly,
compared to
exactly.
most other people. So it's very important that you get your assessments on time, know where you stand in order to practice and put in practice at the right place. So that definitely through the application we have tried to solve. And being a trainer, being in the field for so long, I think that was one major pain point we wanted to address. So yes.
You've been constantly hearing about my IELTS partner, and you might be even wondering about why we're promoting this. The thing is, being IELTS trainers, we've seen how students have struggled when it comes to a one-on-one session. So if anybody out there who really wants to like crack this IELTS, you know, probably you might be fed up of going to institutions, running around, with your concerns, going to people, not able to crack it for some reason. Such students might find my IELTS very, very, very helpful, and that's exactly why we are promoting. So promoting good things which is helpful is perfectly fine. It's good. It's really good. So I think with this we have to get into the next one, which is writing, the most crucial thing.
Oh yes, writing.
The thing is, a lot of my students ask this question, which I don't know if it's a relevant question, but then should we give importance to task 1 or should we give importance to task 2? So what do you think?
So the writing section in IELTS, in the IELTS exam, has 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2, and they're equally important. However, the only difference is that when the writing marks are calculated, the writing task 2 is counted twice. Okay. So the scores are generally your writing task 1 plus writing task 2 plus writing task 2 divided by 3.
Oh.
So that is how you get your average band score.
Okay.
You know, so obviously your writing task 2 has a little more weightage because the time allotted for task 2 is 40 minutes.
Okay.
And task 1 is only 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And the number of words you're expected to write for task 2 is 250 to 270.
Yeah.
And whereas task 1, it's only 150 to 170. So obviously there is a tendency of having to concentrate more on task 2.
Exactly.
But task 1 is made in this manner because task 1 is just to understand whether you're an academic student or a general student. Yeah, that is the only difference. So academic students, you are given a diagram and you're asked to analyze the data.
Pictorial representations,
yes.
Illustrations.
Data representation, we call it.
Yeah.
Where you have a graph, you have a pie chart or a table chart. Sometimes it's a map.
Yeah, it's a map. Map is very confusing.
Very
actually.
confusing. Yeah, especially if you're not good with directions, which I am not. I'm a very bad navigator. People who know me will vouch for it also.
I would look at the right and say it's left.
Exactly. So everybody tells me, please show your hand. Don't open your mouth. So I'm very bad. But then obviously with practice I've learned how to answer the questions.
Yes.
But if you give me Google Maps, even today I'm very bad.
Oh, I hate.
Yeah.
I hate the navigation part. I don't know why, but then I really don't like that. It's probably because I'm confused, and I also confuse the person who's sitting with me.
Exactly. I don't navigate. So that's that. And process diagrams is another kind of question, which is actually the easiest if you ask me, out of the other questions asked.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you all need to understand while answering your academic task 1 is there can be static and dynamic data.
Okay.
You need to first figure out whether it is static. Static is data given during a set period of time. That maybe it could be for a particular year. However, dynamic is over a period of maybe 10 years or 12 years, or the change that has come about in that period of time. So this is important because according to whether it's static or dynamic, your tenses change, your vocabulary changes.
Yeah.
So that is something you need to first analyze. And for writing, one formula that you can use is to understand the pattern and the structure. Don't write too much, don't write less. It's very simple. You have an intro paragraph, you have an overview when it comes to your academic task 1, and then you have 2 body paragraphs where you explain the relevant features. The question itself says, summarize the relevant or the key features that you see in the diagram given.
Exactly.
Don't try giving extra explanation. Don't try giving a conclusion by saying, you know, oh, the population of so and so country increased during this period of time because of these factors. No, try doing that in task 2 and you will definitely score better. So in task 1, all you need to do is what is given to you, understand, analyze whether it's static, dynamic. First, figure out what are the relevant features, which are the highest points, which are the lowest points. If there's a particular period where there is a significant rise and there's some particular reason why that rise has happened, or a significant fall, or during a period the data stays constant, these are the only factors that you need to analyze and write down about. And if you do this, you will finish your task in 20 minutes. If you sit and explain, you're going to lose time for your task 2, which will eventually affect your band score.
So this is basically because you're going to another country, you will be offered jobs. So when you're working, your skill, how much of your skill is definitely something that matters. But at the same time, communication is something which is very important. And when they provide you with the picture, they expect you to explain what is in the picture and not fabricate things, because they want the estimate, they want the correct answer to it. So as a language developer, when you look into a picture, what you see is not what they want explanation for. What they expect you to give is exactly what they want to hear from you. That is the reason why they give these pictorial illustrations, to find out how you can actually break open the picture and put it into words. And the picture and the word should not have any sort of, should not have any change.
The
it's
meaning, hard facts.
Yeah, it should be fact.
Absolutely factual. Because in countries that you are planning to travel to, people believe in facts. There is no fabrication there.
So there is this this Malayalam thing where we say kayi nittu parayanda. Just tell what is in the picture. Don't try to create a story which is not mentioned in the picture, which is not shown in the picture.
You don't have to do that at all. However, now task 2. What do you think about using idioms and phrases and these complicated words, like students call them?
I find it very interesting interesting in the sense that weirdly interesting, that a lot of students focus on using vocabulary which is that looks very fancy, but is totally inappropriate. The word happiness and the word pleasure, even though they stream from the same synonym, it has got a totally different usage. A pleasure is something which is very, it's something that stays for a very short time. So if you eat a Ferrero Rocher chocolate, you want to eat one more, it's actually pleasure. Happiness means something that just comes and never goes. It stays.
It's constant.
Seeing your family, spending time with them, being with them is all something that comes, that produces happiness. So when these two words are actually replaced in the wrong place, you should actually understand that the examiner has a wonderful time having, a time in laughter.
Haven't you had?
Oh my God, I've laughed at certain words. Inappropriate vocabulary, let me tell you this, will not help you score marks. In fact, sometimes they even strike off those words because it doesn't make any sense, and you never know. Inappropriate words can even may help them strike off your sentences at the same time. So idioms, they're informal. And most of them I think they are made according to certain scenarios which need not be relevant all of the time.
And avoid using idioms while you do your task 2,
because it's formal. Idioms are basically informal.
Yes, it's very, very important. People think idioms are fancy language. They are high enriched vocabulary. A lot of people come and ask me this, what is enriched vocabulary? And I'm like, there is nothing called enriched vocabulary. Vocabulary is vocabulary. There is nothing called enriched and low vocabulary. No. You use the right word at the right time, the right context, you will be able to communicate and put your ideas across. The most important thing for task 2 is to first understand the question that is asked.
Exactly.
First, try analyzing what they are asking you to write. Without which you will not be able to score, because a lot of people actually don't spend time reading the question.
Exactly.
What they do is they see this one word, they see maybe say globalization, or they see internet, or they say or they see obesity, they see health, something like that, and then they just write down whatever they know, all these words they would have picked up from here, there, they just write down everything randomly, and there is no answer to the question asked.
Picking up keywords is useful when it comes to reading, but when it comes to writing, you'll have to understand the whole question and the approach that you have to have towards the essay. At the end of the day, whatever you write, people should also understand. It doesn't mean that using fancy languages, or as she was telling, enriched vocabulary would actually make look your essay really good, because if the question has got nothing to do with the essay, then you're in trouble.
You're in deep trouble.
You're in deep trouble,
Yes.
actually.
So first understand whether it's an opinion essay or it's a non-opinion essay. Are you actually supposed to give your opinion, or are you're not asked for an opinion? Don't give it. You don't have to. And again, concentrate on the pattern, on the structure. Understand that there's an introduction that you need to write. There is a body paragraph where you explain one part of the question, another body paragraph where you explain the next part of the question,
Exactly.
and finally a decent conclusion. That's all you need to do. It's not rocket science. It's not a
It's
Herculean
definitely
task.
not.
Nothing of that kind. It's just a simple question asked, and they are topics that most of us discuss. I think, at least, like, I go back to the point of reading. The more you read, the more conversations you have with people, you listen to, not hear, again I'm saying listen to what people have to talk about, then you will definitely understand the questions asked to you are to do with what is happening around you. It's not out of syllabus like most people say. So try picking up language. Definitely you have to improve your language, but that doesn't mean you don't know what you're talking about, and you say on the flip side, on the other side of the coin, and that's not required.
It's to be honest, it's really annoying to most of the examiners when you keep using these words, because it's available in the internet and they've been seeing this like over and over again, and
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of candidates who come and sit in front of them and use the same usages. They'll be like, isn't there anything else for them to say? So that also, it's become cliche right now. So I would suggest, both of us would suggest that don't give too much of importance to the idioms part, but give importance to actually understand the question and answer the question actually.
And very important, pay attention to your spellings. Oh my god, there are some crazy spellings that I come across, and I am shocked. I'm really shocked, where this one person would have written achieve or receive, and it's weird. The spellings are really weird.
All the three words would be different.
Yeah, and then on the other side they have used words like plethora, myriad, and you're like, trust me, as an examiner, as a trainer, I just don't correct those essays, because I know that the person has learned this sentence by heart and is using it. It's like copy paste.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
like
is.
an iota without a speck of doubt, without an iota of doubt. The iota spelling, most of the times I've seen people write weird spellings for iota.
It's not that we're judging you guys, because
Yeah.
I do make a lot of spelling mistakes. Just being an English trainer doesn't mean that we are perfect, and I don't say that we don't make spelling mistakes. I still, if you ask me a question, for example, iota, for example, I sometimes have issue with the spelling. So what I do is I go back and I check it. If you have a doubt when it comes to spellings, go back, take the effort to go back and check, and then come back. Don't just write and just for the sake of writing, write and just submit your paper. That's not what you're meant to be doing. You need to do a little bit of research as well. So here is my question, Nitya. So I think IELTS writing have very little videos on it. Okay.
Oh, on our app you will find the most number of videos for writing, because I think it's one of the most important areas. Listening, reading, speak, everything is important. Like we said from the beginning, all four are very, very essential skills you need.
Yeah, but writing is something that I find a lot of students struggling in.
Yes, that's because people don't write anymore.
Yeah,
Like
they
it's
don't.
like it's like reading where you're using your mobile, your text language or whatever they call it.
But
I don't
you
know.
the YOU,
Oh my-
I've seen them literally writing you.
Yeah. That's another thing. Always remember not to use contractions in your
You
essay.
cannot use any contractions.
Please don't say don't. Please write do not. Please don't write etc for etc. Please write the word etc. Learn the spelling. Please learn the spelling of etc. Write etc. It's very, very important. These are, like from the beginning we've been saying, tips. These are a few tips that we can possibly give you. But otherwise, to answer your question, on my IELTS partner there are a lot of videos on writing, and again writing divided into task 1, task 2, on what task achievement is, on what clarity and cohesion is, on what vocabulary is, and what grammatical range and accuracy is, and how you can go about brainstorming, finding ideas. And another section I've completely dedicated that to grammar, IELTS grammar, where you have subject verb agreement, prepositions, you have clauses, you have simple, compound, complex sentences. Very, very, very important. So all of this is taken care of. Moreover, there is one section that has only vocabulary. Now you can see how you can, after you have learned the basics of writing, then you move on to grammar, you move on to vocabulary. So you will know how to use these words where. So we have task 1 vocabulary, that is academic and general writing task 1 vocabulary. We have task 2 vocabulary.
Oh, nice.
And in the speaking section also, we have task 1, part 1, part 2, part 3. So we have vocabulary lessons for all these 3 sections also. Where you need to understand how to express your opinion, where some people find it difficult to find different phrases to explain even while writing, where you need to say what you feel. So firstly, there are certain words that you can use, like consequently, subsequently, firstly, secondly, nevertheless.
Adverbs. Adverb usage is quite it's a little confusing. So if you're not using the right way to understand it, then you can end up writing something really bad.
But we have all of this on the application.
And if you, after all of this, if you still feel that app is not going to really help you, let me tell you that my IELTS partner also offers one-on-one sessions. What I'm talking about is like they give sessions. So if you're interested in joining for that, you can do that directly. Despite having the app, you still feel that you need to have a person to help you out. They are there for you. That. So I'm approved of this, and I know that I'm an IELTS trainer and I do have an institution, but I do approve this because I have seen how they work as a team. I've seen how faithful they are, and I've enjoyed their reels. By the way, let me tell you something. I knew Nitya way before than I becoming a social media influencer, because I started this concept by actually seeing one of Nitya's reels, which I found very genuine actually.
Thank you. A lot. Thank you.
So I was just 700 subscribers or followers then. I really enjoyed her style, the way she explains things, no rush, everything is perfect. So I would definitely recommend this. I can give you an assurance to that.
Thank you so much.
There's one more thing, Nitya, that I would like to ask. I've heard about this this 179 something, a course for that.
The basic.
The basic.
That's just a basic course. Basically the idea of that course is to give a student an introduction, just an overview of what IELTS is all about.
See, no matter how much we speak, not necessarily that everybody should be convinced. If you are somebody who's looking into it and you want to know, like what she said, an overview before you enter into the app, I think this would be.
It gives, there is a mock test as well, and there is a reading, listening, writing and speaking mock test. So it will give you an idea of where you stand. It will tell you, because it's going to give you instant scores. So the minute you submit your test, you get your scores.
Super.
So you will know, where you stand at this moment and how much practice you need to put in. So that was the idea of having this course. But there are several courses that we offer according to the need of the user. So for a beginner level IELTS, you definitely need to put in practice. Practice is the key.
Exactly.
Like we were saying from the beginning, we've been reiterating, it's a skill. So to develop a skill, you need to practice and practice. and that is ample on My IELTS Partner.
Superb.
So yes.
Okay, so Nitya, this
Yes.
is one question that I have to ask you is that is it available in iOS? Like, because most of the time when we download an app, it support Android support but then it doesn't have an iOS support. So
Yes.
just wanted to know that.
My IELTS Partner is available on iOS, Android, and web platforms.
Superb.
Yes.
So
And to tell you a little about My IELTS Partner, this is a self-learning online platform for all you IELTS aspirants, where you have video lessons which are curriculum based, module based. You have practice material which is accessible more than thrice, and you have exam based mock tests. And one of the major plus points, at least for me, is the fact that you get instant scores for all your tests.
super.
So you don't have to wait for your results. You don't have to. There's no dependency. You don't have to depend on an external factor for an answer key, and then you sit and evaluate, and then figure out where did I go wrong, what happened. All that is not. All that hassle is not there.
So you might I think you did understand the fact that the reason why she actually designed the whole thing is that she herself have seen a lot of students and herself struggling in the area where you have to go behind your trainers to get something corrected. So that's something which is very difficult. So this is something that's it's a very futuristic idea, I feel.
Yes, definitely. Also, there are different courses available that caters to the needs of each student. So it's not like there is just one package that everybody needs to take. Our courses range from 179 rupees to 9,900 rupees.
Super.
There are free courses and paid courses. The paid courses is what I just spoke to you about, from 179 to 9,900.
Super.
And the paid courses are available for 3 months.
Okay.
So you can use the course for 3 months, and you can practice, take mock tests, learn thoroughly. Plus, with all this, we provide academic sessions,
Super.
the one-on-one sessions that we were talking about, where you have a tutor assigned to you who will help you clear your doubts when you finished watching a video and you feel this particular area is a little bit of a challenge and I want more explanation. So you use your academic sessions for that,
Okay.
where
Wow.
you get more explanation and understand better.
Super.
So all of this under one umbrella, under one platform, in the most economical manner. And I think the interface is also, I think, pretty easy, and it's very direct right there.
Okay.
So yes, so you should try using this application.
Definitely try My IELTS Partner. Okay.
Yes.
And that is the end of the session, by the way, and we really don't know how to end it.
I know.
We're having fun actually
I know.
explaining about this.
Yes.
It's really fun, but then we have to stop, because if we don't stop, I think people will ask us to stop.
Yes.
So I think the session was helpful to you, and we have not covered the whole segment, but we have definitely given you an overview of what we exactly wanted to tell you. This is a topic which is very close to our heart. Please don't think this is just a business or just something that we are doing it for the sake of doing it. This is something that's very close to our heart. This is actually our vision. This is actually our mission. And I really appreciate for the hard work that Nitya puts into this app, along with Roshan. Roshan's not here, but then we want to thank him also. So if there is anything that Nitya would you like to add on, and then
I think from Roshan's and on my behalf and from the entire team, we would like to thank you for all the support. She has been of immense support. The warmth and the support she has extended, honestly, it has given me a lot of confidence. Like I was telling her, I had no idea, that all that we've been doing has actually reached people. I genuinely had no idea. When she told me, I was like, oh, okay. I was really moved, to be very honest. So thank you so much for all the support.
I should thank you, because I've been looking for an app so that I can actually refer my students to. So I'm going to tell my students about this, and so yeah, we'll be coming with more stuff. This is not going to be the end. We're going to come with more stuff, more surprises. But until then, I think
we'll sign off. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.